part 1 was fun, but part 2 is more funnier. Let's go and check it out. Things you should not say to an architect.
Okay, so I'll go to the vendor part of the questions. Why do you need material samples? We have everything in our brochure.
I have a nice experience with this.
I have never gotten this. Okay, in fact, we tell के हमको सिर्फ brochure दे दो यार, हमको sample नहीं चाहिए. ये देखो ये पूरा material library पीछे पड़ा हुआ. I don't know if you guys can see it.
Yes,
okay?
yes.
All right. And I'll be like, boss, नहीं चाहिए material आपका. जब भी हम propose करेंगे तब आप जाकर के हमको दे देना. But हमको सिर्फ brochure दे दो. Now तो we don't even. I just want to get rid of this. You know, everything is online, like barely. But okay, like my office functions a little differently. So. But we've always had people coming up to us and saying that sample le lo, brochure le lo, sab le lo. I don't know. Never faced the problem.
I think his question is like, when you ask vendor to provide the sample, he always try to tell कि अभी मैं brochure भेज रहा हूँ, you just look at the brochure and then decide. So I think the question is like that, and I had a super experience with this. Like we were actually designing a toilet, and for that we were selecting a kind of a mosaic tile. So he sent me a catalog from where I selected one color, which is like a very light gray color of the tile, and then actual was side पे आया तो it was actually a light purple grayish color. And my client was like, actually this was the sample you selected. So I said, because it was my fault, like I have selected the sample from the actual book, right? So I decided, like I tried to convince him, like wo to, we wanted to highlight that particular wall, so we wanted this color to be there. And then what at the end what we had done is like we put a giant mirror there and we hide actually that entire stuff. So that was the bad experience we had. But yeah, always we require sample, never judge on this base of the catalog.
Correct. So my next question is in work-life balance, and many of our friends were not.
I'm keeping the phone. I am keeping. There is no work-life balance.
So just listen to the question. Many of our non-architects friends says that how many vacation you take in an year?
Never had it again. Never had it because I keep traveling only. Like my work is vacation, yeah. I work on vacation. Like my vacation on work or something like that you can say, because I keep traveling. Blessed to choose, of course. But never had a problem, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have had a problem like that.
Yes,
so how many vacations? So what are you trying to ask? So is the question that
do you go for any vacation or you keep working? Is there any work-life balance? That was the question.
No, see, I feel if you love your work, you know, if you're passionate about your work, okay, whatever you do is going to be a vacation. Like, so for me, at least it is that, okay. And it's amazing because work takes us to places, all right. Although, yeah, if you tell me that, okay, I was in Jaipur last week, did you go and see that fort? No, I didn't see that fort. But it's very subjective, right? Like, I don't like to do touristy stuff anyway. Like, you know, I like my me time. I like to be in a different space. Maybe I'll connect with somebody and spend time with them or whatever that is, you know. Yeah.
So actually, I want to add to that. It has a lot to do with the personality of the principal architect or designer also, because what happens is that I personally, because I know Karan the way I know him, and the little I've heard about Bhavik, so like Karan has always been very consistent in terms of, like, he doesn't want to make his studio into a factory, right? So he is very sure that he's going to take these many number of projects. He is not going to increase his team beyond a particular number. He's not going to, so because all these things are very, very related to having architecture and design as a passion. Okay. So, but unfortunately or fortunately, when you talk about the commercial aspect of it, I mean, you know, it's like the joy between awards and rewards, right? So it's like we have to balance it somewhere or the other. So it is a lot, like, my point would be that I think it's a lot to do with the personality of the principal architect or yourself actually. Yeah, I think I've tried hard, but I make sure that at least a 15-day holiday should be there. But Baki, we have a lot of fun with our team and all that. So I pretty much every Saturday, Sunday we are out. So for us, I think those weekend vacations are very, very important.
But did you mean like on a personal note? Like, so for example, see, I am single. I love my life. Okay. But like Karan is Shadi Shuda, Jay is Shadi Shuda. Like, so perhaps is your question more on के family के side साथ में time spend करते हो कि नहीं करते हो?
Basic as an architect.
As a by the way.
Yeah. Basic as an architect.
Yeah, I have a funny incident here. Like he was getting married, right? So the day before marriage, he was standing on set. मैं बोला, why? बोलता है क्योंकि मेरे को honeymoon में परेशान. I am completing my work before the marriage, so I can enjoy my trip.
Oh God. But Jay, you seem to be like very sorted. You seem to have like a very good balanced work life.
You're mute. I'm not getting your immediate instant reaction when he said that.
But it's really funny that my average my average day, I'm one of those guys who likes working at night. So I usually am like when I need to do something, I'll sort of sit at night, and then till I'm not solved or till I'm not got to a point where I'm comfortable, I'm sitting at office. So it's not that uncommon for me to come home at like 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning. Like jab kaam hota hai tabhi hota hai sort of thing. And it's also unfortunately not because obviously my eldest child goes to school, and so I don't get up by 7 when he heads to school. So I've had it happen a few times where like I'm not seen him for 2, 3, 4 days. So we'll do video chat and stuff like that. But one of the things that I had done at least pre-COVID was I would take like, even if they're like 3-4 day vacations, I would just go off like in a year. I'd do like 4 like vacations with family, like maybe 1 longer, 2 longer. But I would say that's family time because then you're really able to spend time with family rather than the usually like Sundays also you have something or the other, there's a socials, whatever. So one of the things that has helped, at least in my case, is to be able to sort of do compact and sort of dedicated sort of family time that's not in the city. But I think as architects, if we are passionate about what we do and if we want to do it ourselves, there isn't enough time in the day, unfortunately. So you tend to have these kind of timelines, and you hope that you have a partner that supports you and sort of is okay with it. That's basically what's going to happen. I don't see.
He just summarized his autobiography in 5 minutes.
I hope there's a lot more in my autobiography than that.
Work autobiography. So I think it pretty much is a lot to do with, like he said, removing out time, etc. When you are so much in love and that passion with what you do, you don't end up wanting to remove that time because your day itself, you're already enjoying the space you're in. You're enjoying your not just your projects, but your ambitions, the way you see yourself ahead, etc., etc. So I don't think that designers in general only don't have a personal and professional separate. And in that, architects are rather even more, not just are the most egoistic, but I think are also the most passionate towards what they wish to do.
So I'll take 2 more questions and then we are done with the interview. I hope everyone is like have some time for those 2 questions. I'm really sorry that it is getting a little bit.
No, it's pretty much fun. It's nice.
It's a lot of fun because we are anyway having a conversation. No? I feel like we are sitting in the living room only.
Yeah.
So
you are close by. Karan, you should come down to the studio. We could have done this together only right now.
Yes.
So the next question is, an architect will never say it, designing that project was super easy and took almost no time at all?
I've had, sometimes what you want to achieve out of something, sometimes it just works. Like the first time you put stuff together, I feel I feel our role as architects is to find the simplest possible solution with all the different sort of parameters or whatever stuff you want to do, whatever's the simplest answer to all those different questions. And sometimes you'll find that very quickly, and uh, it's important to be able to trust that that first thing is the right thing to do, because sometimes you'll keep going on that journey which you're kind of worsening it. But I think it is true that some projects are just everything sort of just works, and you sort of find that whatever that point where anything more would be spoiling the design. I think that's absolutely fine. Every project has its own sort of journey.
True.
But what I would say here is that, okay, let's face it, like what you're saying is right. Like no project is simple, easy, or is just done. Every project is going to have that stress and that anxiety and that time that you invest in and that jagda and reverse forward and all of that. Okay. But I feel, so for example, with me, okay, I've had very few experiences with my clients, okay, who've made the process so effortless you can't even imagine. Okay. So what do I mean by saying this is, like, for example, you're doing a project, okay? There are going to be goof ups, there are going to be problems, there are going to be delays, there are going to be corrections, there are going to be change in designs from your end or the client end or whatever, okay? But see, at the end of the day, you are doing this project for your clients, right? So eventually, if nobody else, your clients have to be happy about this, correct? So in my case, I think even if I've spent 2 years on a project, okay, with a lot of problems, with a lot of mistakes, with a lot of corrections and this and that, okay, but I would still say that that project has been the most effortless project ever in my life. Okay, it's the dream project, right? I mean, I'm going to be putting it up very soon on Instagram. But those clients, I tell you, were God sent. Okay, I don't think perhaps any of you would have met somebody like them. Okay, I feel like they're so rare. All right. And amidst all the challenges that we've had throughout the process, okay, they have made sure that I was comfortable. I was comfortable mentally, I was comfortable at the studio, I was comfortable on site, everywhere, because they kept that faith and trust in me. So even if we had that problem, it was so relaxing because your clients had that faith and trust in you. Okay, so that you knew that, अरे boss, आज नहीं तो 2 दिन के बाद तो इसका solution निकल ही जाएगा and we will be out of it. So I would say that a project 2,500 square feet taken 1.5 years, okay, with all the tamjam in the world, okay, I would say that it was effortless, okay, and the smoothest of all right, to compare to something that we would have done it in, like, say, 25 days, okay, 1,000 square feet, and I would say that it is the most stressful thing that I've done. So I think it's a lot to do for me, at least it is like that, because somewhere we are in the service industry and it is our job that our clients are happy, right? Whatever we are doing. So this is where I come from. I don't know, like, Karan, would you defer to what I said?
No, actually, but your question was related to easy or hard, right? I mean, it's like saying that, oh, this person took a thesis project because it was easy. I mean, easy itself, that word is so subjective, because I think if it's about the amount of efforts you put into versus the amount of thoughts that are going in versus the amount of plethora of research that you must have done. So I think there is no project that is easy. It's about the journey that each one of those projects have. And because I'm pretty sure, okay, for example, something that is so easy for Karan to design, because he specializes in interiors and these boutique residences and all. For me, I'd be like, I'm going to be doing like probably a month of research to just figure out that what is my style when it comes to interiors. I'm giving an example. Don't feel too good about yourself. But it's I think, but okay, reverse. I mean, if I'm given a township to design, which is what we specialize in, versus when Karan will do it, I think, okay, maybe there'll be a different way in which he'll go about it. But at the same time, he will need a lot of backing and research work of how he wants to develop that.
I'm
work.
slyly going to call Karan and say that, listen, we have to do this.
Yeah, so we might just anyways, that brings to collaboration, which is totally in. But I think it's easy and hard are very, very subjective. There's no such thing where a project is easy.
That's true. Okay, so coming back to the last question, this is related to the firms we work for. So young architects who come and join for the job, they say, why do I get paid so less? So what's your answer for that?
Because we get paid so less. I mean, I don't know.
Very simple.
It's just such a like ऐसा फट से मुंह से निकल गया मेरे. But it is true. And honestly, I think there are studios. I don't want to become someone Mahan and say one of our studios as well, but there are studios who are changing that, where young architects are getting paid what they deserve. However, that number is very, very low. But it is like, I don't know, man. This is such a debate we can go on for like 2 hours. Jai Bhai also knows, we've spoken about this so many times. Getting paid less and how much we are paying our junior architects, assistant architects. I'm so bolu yaar. Karan, take something up now.
We've had interns who come to us and I'd be like, boss, तू मेरे को 15,000 रुपया दे तेरे को ट्रेन करने के लिए, because you are like Z category का. मतलब मुझे पता नहीं है that how have you even cleared architecture, okay? And there are some interns who've come to us, okay? This poor girl is coming from Thane every day, okay? And I told her that, boss, we are in Goregaon, you are in Thane, I'm not going to pay you a single penny if you come here, all right? She's like, no, I really want to work with you because I love your aesthetics, blah, blah, blah. Okay, all these flowery things that people tell us usually, which is also very flattery. But you won't believe that girl is so efficient, This is the 3rd month and we're going to start paying her like 8 to 10,000 bucks, okay? But I think, so, मेरे को तो कोई शर्म नहीं है, boss, okay? I'll be like, people pay me because of my experience, okay? Nobody comes and tells me that, oh, Karan Desai is an architect, let's pay him what, like say, for example, a Hafiz contractor is charging. No, they'll give Hafiz because of his experience. They'll pay Karan of whatever, like, I am worth it, and they will give me for who I am today, okay? A 10-year-old practice to a 40-year-old practice to a 70-year-old practice, it's all going to differ, right? And similarly, I feel like anybody who's joining a firm, I feel that you should first know that what is your worth, you know? And if somewhere you feel that this is the studio that you want to work with, okay, then prove yourself, all right? So I am all ears. I'm all there to like have, like, आज किसको अच्छे लोग नहीं पसंद है यार office में, आए दिन आड़े टेढ़े लोग आते रहते हैं, you know? I think this is going to be like another chapter for you, okay? Because if I start to rant and then Bhavik will rant and then Karan will rant and then Jay will rant, this ranting will never get done from the employees, you know, employers. But
Karan, on that note, I think if I may just differ a little.
Of course.
If you talk in reference to like, you know, expecting that statement that you said, you know, that I need to probably be paid a particular amount to train someone. So I already know how particular you are, or a lot of us are, in terms of hiring the right people for our office, right?
Yeah.
But then when we are hiring, do you still feel it is right to not pay someone from
I'll
the
tell you
first day?
why. I'll tell you why. Okay. Because the first day you meet them and you talk to them, also, I feel like I'm a very bad businessman. Okay. Jay, I honestly need to learn from you. Perhaps I'll have to have like a discussion with you. I'm not kidding. Okay. I am a man of heart. I don't think from my head. Okay. In general. All right. So whenever somebody comes to me, a client, a friend, a family, or in general, in all my relationships, okay, relationship, like in anything that I'd have, I always give the first benefit of doubt to the person that ये जो भी बोल रहा है सच बोल रहा है, okay, और दिल से बोल रहा है, okay, and a lot of times I will go with the flow. So if you come and oversell yourself today to me, okay, I'll be like, हाँ ये जो भी बोल रहा है करके दिखाएगा. But 2 weeks down the line, 3 weeks down the line, you feel that okay, he had promised the moon and he's not even taken the first step to reach to the goal. मतलब अगर 4 steps चल के तो दिखा दे भाई. You have promised the moon to me. You will have to take a rocket and go up. Okay, चलने से भी कुछ नहीं होने वाला है. So this is where my problem is. Where, and trust me, what, as a man of words, all right, if I've hired somebody for 25,000 rupees, even if the output of the person has been in minus, okay, I've still paid him 25,000 rupees at the end of the month because this is what I had committed. Okay. So after a point, no, I realized saying that, boss, I can't be a fool now, because the company is answerable today. I am answerable to the company. We are hiring so many people. Imagine we have a staff of 10 people. Okay. Whenever you hire all these people, the salaries goes in lakhs. Yeah. So if tomorrow this one bugger starts to like behave spastic, all right, I'll have to shut my business like this. So again, this is just in terms of the interns. And to be really honest, if the interns are really amazing, we don't not pay them. We do pay them some stipend so that their expenses and all of them are that is taken care of. Or there is a time when we tell them that, boss, you know what, नहीं जमने वाला है. तो मतलब अगर आपको काम करना है ऐसे ही बैठ करके कुछ सीख सकते हो तो सीख लो, but इसके ज्यादा कुछ नहीं हो सकता.
But Sagar, I also feel that there's a flip side that people don't ask the employer. Do you know that currently in Mumbai, we are facing pre and post COVID both? It has not changed at all. Actually, post COVID, it has increased the whole idea of jumping employees. Okay, you train someone, you want them to work in the way you want them to work, and I know people who leave office for 3,000 rupees, 4,000 rupees.
Wow.
Okay. And where is that sense of loyalty in return? Okay.
There's nowhere.
During lockdown, when full work from home, where projects were shut, we have paid people money. Did someone come and tell us that time? नहीं, आप क्यों काम आपको नहीं मिल रहा, हमें क्यों दे रहे हो? नहीं ना. So I think it's an equilibrium, and I think there has to be an equal amount of, okay, you demand money, you demand the worth of your time and efforts. But we ask for only one thing in return, no? Loyalty.
So that was the whole point of me adding this question.
Yeah, exactly.
I already have, I have a rather different look at this. So I have 2 things to say. One is with regards to what you asked, which is to do with remuneration. Second is to do with skills. So much to what Karan, I'm going to call you Karan Desai, but much to what he said, finding good talent is ridiculously difficult. So the way I'm looking at it is, if you, for example, so we have a startup which is doing stuff with artificial intelligence and Python, and so if you have those skill sets, I don't care if you're in 4th year, you're in 5th year, you are in 3rd year. If you have that skill set, I'll pay you anything. And unfortunately, what's happening is that the skill sets that we're looking for, we're not necessarily getting. And every college I go to, I tell them the same thing, that the way we are working today is going to drastically change in 5, maximum 10 years. Who are studying for that horizon. It can't be that, you come out of college with, like right now, they don't even come with BIM knowledge. They come with like AutoCAD. They don't know Rhino. They don't know Grasshopper. They don't know the stuff that they should absolutely know. So I'm saying from a software perspective, presentation perspective is very, very important. Just speaking skills is very, very important. So I think one is just skill set. Finding guys who have that skill set, and I'm telling you, it's not that difficult to be able to teach yourself that, even if your college doesn't have that, because that's how we all learned it. We learned it from the net. Now, keeping the skills aside, we have a little bit of a different. So what we do is that we pay our interns a minimum stipend of 10,000, and then it can go up to 25. But we must be getting, on average, we must be getting like, I don't know, 40, 50 applications a day. And so we literally comb through like, I don't know how many applications to find the right candidate. So I think what we're saying is that we want the right guys. We don't mind paying you. So I think we've sort of turned that around where we're like, listen, if you're good at what you do, don't worry about the money. But if you're not good at what you do, I'm not particularly interested. And I think that flip is important, because what we're all looking for is good talent. And that's where the challenge lies, not necessarily the money. Is maybe how I would sort of, I know that changes a bit about what you guys said, but that's why I said that I don't think any employer would mind if someone's really good at their job, whether it's an intern or whatever, if they're really good at what they do, or they're bringing like what we do is that we specifically, because interns are with us for a very short period of time, we specifically sort of involve them in stuff where they are designing, because we want something new to come up, and it also allows us to check if they have those skill sets to be able to promote that, rather than giving them like working drawings where I know that, my guys in office will do it in literally 1/10 the time. So it's important to give them a well-rounded sort of experience, but I think that we must understand obviously both sides, like what are they looking for when they come work for us. And we have to, because we've all obviously been interns not that long ago, and like I did 2 internships. One, I didn't get paid anything, and second, I got paid like my transport also wasn't covered in that, and I was absolutely fine with that. But we must understand that some of us come from privileged backgrounds, and I was fine not getting paid. But then we're also excluding a whole bunch of population where for them the money is important. And I'm saying, listen, if someone from that section of society who has talent, I want that guy to come work for me. I don't really care about, the section of society or whether they're able to afford it or not. They should, the money is not necessarily important. That's how I probably put it.
But technically, perhaps it's the same thing. I would say that just there's a little difference in what you do. The only difference is that you are okay to hire somebody at a price and maybe then take a call. Okay, agar nahi jam raha hai, to you ask them to leave, perhaps, or you let them be.
No, so
because before joining, how do you screen them? How do you know? Because a lot of these people, okay, trust me, and you know what? So for example, a small firm like mine, all right, we are a bunch of like say 8 to 10 people, and we do jadu pocha also into the office and all of that. Okay, so when you have that sort of a setup, I don't think I can perhaps hire 5 interns at 10,000 rupees, okay, and perhaps think के अच्छा ये एक महीने के बाद ये लोग काम करेंगे कि नहीं, मतलब इनका काम का आउटपुट इतना हो जाएगा कि नहीं. So what you are saying is very right. कि skill के सामने पैसा देने के लिए कोई भी राजी हो जाएगा, okay, but perhaps you are in a situation right now where you want to offer that, okay, irrespective of कि एक महीना इनका कैसे जाने वाला है, okay. And I am in a position right now where I will say that boss, तू एक महीना काम कर भाई, उसके बाद देखूंगा कि तेरे को पैसा दूंगा कि नहीं दूंगा. Inshallah, we will reach your stage soon.
No,
okay.
I'll tell you, it's really funny. So what we do is that we're at least what we think we have a pretty good judge now of what someone is able to do. Yes, there is a risk. There is inherently a risk, and what we do is that if someone's saying that, for example, they are masters at, I don't know, Python, for example, we just do a quick test. Like, great, why don't you do this and show me? And I'll see how long you'll take, and I'll see. So one thing that I think these are all reasonably sort of easy things to do. Like if someone's design really stands out from the portfolio, I'll give them a small design to do. And like, because they want to come work with us for whatever reason, they'll spend that 2-3 hours more, or maybe even longer. But the intent here is that taking someone at their word is never a great idea. So if
I agree.
feel that there's something that this person's bringing to the table that would be amazing, if they are able to do what they're saying they're able to do, it's a quick test. Yeah, just do the test before hiring them. Because you know what, that guy is not going to be happy, you're not going to be happy, the whole system's not happy, because when you don't get what you want out of it, he's probably doing some like ridiculous, like not work of any real value, because you're not going to trust him with that.
Have you ever experienced like this employee saying that I must leave at 7:30 because you are paying this much on?
Yeah, so yes, because and I think it's one of those things where you get an understanding of
recently.
it's so it's two things, right? One is if they are a more senior person and where they're like, they have a family life, and I think we look at it very differently for when they're seniors. When you are an intern, one of the major things we're looking for, or a junior architect, one of the major things we're looking for is passion, because there is so much to learn in a short period of time. If you don't have passion, you're not really getting too far. And so that's another thing where, once in a while, of course, I don't want everyone to sort of pull nights when, on a daily basis. But I feel when there is work and everyone knows that there's a deadline, and then sort of someone gets up and says, listen, I have whatever, I need to reach home, because I've had this happen where an intern's like, my dad is calling me and, he's worried and I need to go home. And it's one of those things where you realize, where are they going to be in the long term, and you take your calls accordingly, because it's part of the process here.
Just to add to what you're saying, and also to sort of, in relation to what Bhavik Bhai said, but I think majorly it is, how are you getting for an employee at the starting part of their career, for people who are not, we can't expect everyone to be equally passionate about work, how we are, okay? So what is the immediate remuneration? You either pay them overtime or don't make them overwork. If whatever they're, and like you already are saying that, we all have a process of the way we are selecting people. So it's not just on the basis of talent, but it's also on the basis of efficiency of the time, right? So if, yes, deadlines happen once or twice in a month, thrice in a month, and we end up doing that. But I think on the 1st of January 2022, after the lockdown, Daisaria Associates had a policy that we will be paying for overtime for all employees.
Interesting.
And that is because and when the team head of any of the teams sanctions the overtime. So obviously, we can't have people who are just wanting to wait back. But if there is a deadline and a project, so there is an overtime bracket given to every project, because even we calculate our man hours. So generally, I think that does happen, and that does work, and it has worked fantastically for us. So, there is no complaint. There has never been any issue where it comes to like, okay, why am I expected to do this? Because there are, in every team, you're going to have passionate people. And you very well will know the kind of people who are long-term with you, who you want to sort of retain. And then that relation starts where they don't work for you, they work with you. So that equation starts developing with some part of the team. But there is still a major part of the team where they do expect getting something else in return, which is always either remunerated through money, respect, or whatever. Respect to theek hai, milta hi hoga, but at least money. So this, I think, as a policy has worked. And honestly, I have worked at SSA for 2 years, and they used to pay overtime as well. I have worked at Studio Pod, and they had a very clear policy that if you overtime, the next day you take off. So you compensate that. So either there's a compensatory leave or there is overtime. And this has worked very, very well. Because I think it is not just the people with a a senior at a senior level who have a family life to live their personal space. It's for everyone. So if you're taking out time from them, then there has to be some remuneration. But again, my question still lies is if you are expecting so much from an employer, what are you giving back in return? That is still my question. And
it is vice versa also applicable.
Sorry?
It is vice versa also applicable.
Yes, it is vice versa.
You have to give.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you for tuning in for this podcast. I hope you enjoyed our talk. You can also follow us on our other social media platforms such as Instagram and YouTube. We post content daily there. The link is added in the description.